You're going to scare everybody.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's just move on. And welcome, everybody. This is the Whatnot Podcast. If you're on here by mistake, hang around. You might like it. And if you're here on purpose, well, we appreciate that anyway.
We're sorry at the same time.
Yeah, well, we know everybody makes mistakes. I'm Chris, and to my below us here is Mr. Ziegler.
Hello.
He's in his real shop tonight, not the sound booth. And then this guy over here, Mr. JP Brown.
You can figure it.
Welcome back.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're just happy you agreed to come back again.
Sucker.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting to do the Mystery Science 3000 thing. That's gonna be so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we are Whatnot Podcast, and we do this thing every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and well, we just talk about woodworking and whatnot. So,
well, that sums it up. Thank you for joining us and listening in.
Yeah, and we've had JP on here before, and he was showing us some of the cool things he's got going on, some of the different things he was testing on, and we never really heard back and got to talk to him about how his tests went and anything he could share with us on that. So we thought, well, you know what? Let's get him back on here and update the viewers on how things went.
Everything was awesome.
Thanks for the elaboration on it. I appreciate that. It means a lot for you to.
Took a whole 6 seconds. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to the podcast shorts where we introduce.
Oh, that was kind of
weird. JP, what are you doing? What's that?
You kind of did
you lagged out
Joel.
A little bit.
Did a Joel there for a minute.
Oh boy, I don't need them apples.
So,
what you been up to?
I have been working my butt off. I've probably averaged 52 hours a week in the last 6 months. Yeah. So, I've not been in my shop since November, unfortunately. But that is all going to change next week. I am cleaning my shop out, and we are going to start building a workbench. So I gave my workbench away.
Uh-oh.
I just gave it to my friend because he wanted one. He's going to start woodworking. So I was like, hey, take my workbench. I'm building a new one. Come get it, though.
Does it look like this?
That is the new one.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yep. This is going to have, thinking about doing a poplar frame because I did talk with Mike on this project a while back. So the frame might be poplar. I might do a 2x4 because the lumber's coming down just a little bit. So I might do it that way. So, but the T-track on the front is going to house my Moby Design camera arm. So I can move it all the way around the bench 360 to get shots from my camera.
There you go.
And it's going to have some storage.
I love that camera arm.
That thing is awesome. And then the right side door is where I'm going to house my California air tools compressor. And I'm going to have some kind of, on the right side, I'm going to have some kind of manifold to just plug in a hose, quick release hose.
That'll make it nice.
Yeah.
So somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I think last time I was here, I don't think my miter saw station project had came out yet. I'm not mistaken.
Mm-mm.
No, yeah. And you were also in the process of doing testing on a pocket machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I have that half done. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'll give you all a little hint. The Craig's still the best one.
Hmm.
The Masca Products one is actually very surprisingly good. The only problem with that one is that the clamp is in the back, kind of like the old K4.
Mm-hmm.
So
You got to reach around.
You got to reach around it and do it, but it's made out of solid aluminum, so it's really, 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 really sturdy. It's very well built too. So you can also take that the column off, and you can take it and put it on the wood itself, and then so you don't actually have to move the whole jig.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it really handy. The armor tool did not work for me very well. I'm just going to leave it at that. You'll see the video.
No worries. You don't have to give us all the details. I mean, we'd maybe get you back on here for a third time and talk about that.
Let's just roast the video of my workstation build.
We've talked about doing roasts, and
that one would be fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we were going to use me as the first run, just so nobody would get offended.
I think instead of doing that, maybe we should just do the very first YouTube videos we've uploaded.
Yeah, that would be
Because
bad.
if you think about it, that's how we got started. Everyone's got to start somewhere. Why not roast the first ones?
I like that idea. I do. I really do.
Yeah, I've gone back and watched Laney Shaughnessy, who's one of the original YouTubers, and man, some of his old stuff's it's interesting.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you've come a long way, my man. Even some of Izzy's stuff is. It's like, wow, what's that in the background?
So.
Yeah, pre-green background is some crazy stuff.
No, remember my first one. Wow.
Yeah.
Shot with a iPhone 6S. I don't even think I had 4K on it.
Nice.
Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, there's deer. You're gonna get that tonight. I'll just do this. Sorry.
Kyle said he is here on accidental purpose. And then he says, a good idea on the camera mount. So Kyle's thumb up approval for you there on that. Not that you needed it or wanted it, but sometimes it's good to be affirmed.
It's very handy, though. It really is, to put it into where you can spin it around wherever you're working.
Yeah, it is. One thing about it is that you have to find a good way to mount it. Because I want to try to make it mobile in the shop too. So I'm trying to design some kind of stand for it so I can, because what I'm doing right now is moving it over from that mount that's on the workbench and to a tripod and then moving it around the shop. I mean, it's okay and all, but I'd rather have it roll around so I can just kind of push it. Don't have to worry about unmounting it and remounting it.
Or if you could put it on like one of those sliders.
Yeah.
So we could slide it, then get action shots and all that too.
The panoramic gimbal or sliding gimbal.
Yeah, the sliding. Yeah. It's like those tracks that are motorized, or they're not. They're just on bars.
Mm-hmm.
They have a camera mount to it, so therefore you could have it. You could just slowly push it and have it do a slow time lapse while it's still moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually looked at those. I actually thought about building one of those. I found some plans that were pretty cool, but it wasn't motorized, so that's the only drawback.
So motorized is like $150 more. You don't necessarily need it whatsoever, but it's an option. You want to put it on slow moving,
right?
While you're like doing, while you're walking around the shop, it'll slowly spin as well as it goes forward. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I do have a DJI Osmos 3. And I do a lot of cool stuff with that one too, especially because it can track objects and move the camera with it.
Yeah, the only change I can see I'd make is, micro jig match fit on there instead of T-track. But hey, that's just me.
I think you should come over to my house and give me a tutorial on how to do that.
Oh my gosh, man! I'm telling you what, I used to be T-track everywhere. I haven't used T-track since I made my first micro jig test piece.
It's actually not a bad idea. I might look into doing that because I don't particularly like T-track either.
And what's cool is you can make your own dovetail fixtures to slide in there, because I made several of them that were 2 feet long when I was making them, and then I can just whack off what I need. And if I need enough to do 2 holes because of a piece that I don't want to spin, if it's only got a single hole, a lot of times you got to really torque it down to keep your part from spinning.
Mm-hmm.
You do 2 holes, it's not going to spin. So I did a few of those out of walnut and just make them just a little skinny if you're going to make a really long one, so you don't have any resistance in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll tell you, I love it. I mean,
What's the clamping pressure on that? I mean, how does that work? Is it compared to a T-track where you screw it down, tighten down?
I would say it's I like it better. I think it's better because one, you're creating a wedge
Mm-hmm.
on the up climb instead of just a shoulder,
Right.
and two, just like with T-track, as long as you've got something on top of that, it's never going to bust through.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got the downward pressure of what you're clamping against versus the dovetail clamp coming up. So it's never going to bust out unless it's completely open.
So the strength is basically what you're using for material.
Mm-hmm. And I've had some torque down some pretty stuff to where I could see the clamp actually doing this number when I was torquing it down, and I've never had a problem.
So you're go ahead, Mike.
Sorry. I was going to say, and you figure too that you have more surface area, with your dovetail wedge than you do with T-track. So like Chris is saying on the shoulder, you had more surface area like that, then you're actually going to be able to not only pull up, but you're pushing up and out at the same time.
Right. Yeah. I actually might do that. That does sound like a cool out. Because the thing about T-track I don't like is that over time the track will pull out when you're tightening stuff down to it. Even if you use epoxy, I've used epoxy on some of mine before, and it still pulls out. And it's all about the material it's going into.
Well, and another thing that I've learned using that, especially if it's a coated T-track, which all of them are now, they're coated with a color, completely sand that coating off the bottom.
Yeah.
And scuff it. And then sometimes that helps. If you can etch it good enough, that helps the epoxy bond better. But yeah, that's the other thing that I like about the match fit system is it completely eliminates the need to go buy that track. And then if it's not pre-bored and pre-countersunk, having to fight those countersink bits to get the right depth and get the right chamfer and get your screws to seat and all that. So just my opinion. And I put a video out a while back on all of the jigs that I've made for my crosscut sled since I made my jig. Man, I still come up with different ways that I find to use it in my shop.
So the thing that you're sliding into it is actually made by Microjig, right? The holders.
The clamps or the little fixture pieces,
right?
Well, they make all of that, yeah. But I've made a lot of my own fixture pieces. I went out and bought some longer screws because their longest screw wasn't quite long enough. And then I also went out and bought a tap and die set to be able to tap the holes so that it matches up into wood, so I can make all my own fixture pieces if I want to.
Gotcha. That's actually a really good idea. I might try that for this workbench. Something different. Plus, T-track's also expensive too.
It is.
And it can get expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not trying to push my opinions on you, but that would be the only change I would make personally if I was going to make the bench. And I've actually started my bench doing the grids on there, and I kind of regret doing the full grids because now I've got the full grids all over my bench. But I've also kept my old hardboard top from my old workbench that I'm going to throw on top of it if I'm doing, random stuff, and that'll at least keep the dust out of the channels somewhat.
Yeah, and you're using that for outfeed table too, right?
Yeah.
Does it catch the wood when you're pushing it over it with the table saw?
No, because I have a intermediate outfeed right. It's connected to my saw, and it's like a bridge that spans from my saw to that workbench. And I've actually got the workbench where instead of it being on the same plane, I've actually got it just a couple of degrees angled down.
Okay.
or lower, so that as pieces come across, it's like a 30-second lower than that bridge. So I don't have that issue of catching the parts.
Yeah, I think that workbench I have is it's either a 16th or a 32nd inch shorter than my new table saw.
Well, and I just made a big purchase. It'll be here at the end of May, 1st of June, and all of that's going to have to be completely rebuilt, I'm afraid. So
Did you get a new table saw?
I'm working on it. I placed the order.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you go Spags right and go saw stop?
Well, yeah, I've been eyeballing it for a couple of years, but I've just been putting it off because mine still works, and
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what, they're having that price increase, and it ain't going to do nothing but continue to go up.
Yep.
And I'm doing a lot of sheet goods. I said, it's time for me to protect myself a little bit and go ahead and get a 3 horsepower. So I did.
It's a great saw. I mean, even without the safety feature, it's probably one of the highest quality saws out on the market.
Well, what sucks about it is I bought the I've got the 6-inch Super Dado from Freud, and I've never been a huge fan of that dado blade because it leaves horrible ridges in the cut.
Really?
And it doesn't leave really clean shoulders. And of course, it leaves the little dog ears. But I can deal with the dog ears, but the rough bottom cut drives me up the wall. But it's a 6-inch. And so now I'm going to have to go buy an 8-inch dado.
Is that an older model of that dado stack? Because I have the 8-inch Super Dado, and it's great.
No, and I've know other people who've got the same 6-inch, and it's because it's the exact same as the 8. It's just different diameter, but it has never left a clean cut, and so I'm torn. And then I was excited. I said, you know what? I'm going to go buy a Prestige from Amana, and then I can't because one, it's got those anti-kickback shoulders on it, and it's got their blue one is electrostatic coated, and it goes all the way onto the teeth. So you can't put that on that saw stop.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got a 4-wing chipper on it, which they don't recommend. So I thought it was just due to the reaction time of the cartridge not being able to slow it down as fast.
Yeah.
But there's an even worse downside is if it does engage and you're using a 4-wing or a full blade chipper, the weight and the mass of that, the cartridge might stop it appropriately, but the mass will continue on and it can bend your arbor. And the minute you bend your arbor, obviously, SawStop's not going to warranty that because you've used an improper dado stack.
Yeah.
So, catch-22, man. That's the way it goes.
Chris Miller's here.
Yeah. Where will you get the 8? Not sure, Chris. I know a place that sells Amana and Freud. Just depends on who pays me most. No, accepting donations.
Yeah, the Freud dado stack I got is absolutely incredible. 8-inch, especially combined with the Grizzly 3 horsepower table saw, cuts like butter.
Well, again, and now that I'm going saw stop, that limits my options a little bit. So I'm going to have to choose. Amana does make a 2 chipper dado stack.
Yeah.
Or 2-wing. So I'm looking at that because I really don't want to go with that economy dado from Freud. That thing's.
The Diablo.
No, they've got an economy series, and then they've got the super, and then they've basically taken the super and put that little dial spacer on it and call it a dial dado. So it's the same thing as the super, just with that dial feature, but the economy is just not bashing Freud or anything, but I've owned one of those years ago and was not too.
That's the stack I had before, and it was okay.
But hey, it's great for getting into woodworking, and you need something that's reasonably priced. But so I don't know. That's where
I got in a pinch one time when I went to Home Depot and got the Avante dado stack. That was a bad idea. Those castle joints looked horrible.
Yeah, all over the forums, like, hey man, you should go. I see people talking about the different dados they're using on the saw stops, and a lot of them are like, oh man, the DeWalt's the best I've used. How many have you used then, really?
Right. Well, you want to get, you want to go with the big dog, you go with the Forest. Dado King, Super Dado King.
Then what was the other one? They call it the Datonator.
The Datonator. It's
I
awesome.
can't remember what brand of saw that was. It wasn't Forest. It was not Affinity. I don't remember. They were talking about it on this song. Oh,
Yeah,
the
it wasn't.
Datonator.
It is Infinity.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Not that one. That's close.
Datonator.
Yeah.
I would buy that just for the name.
Uh-huh.
It's close to potato.
Close enough. Well, let's get into some fun history there, JP.
Oh, Lord.
We've uncovered a few photos of you, and let me see. Did you ever send me the email file with the other?
No,
Okay.
I couldn't find any of the ones I needed to show you.
Well, in that case, these have zero to do with woodworking, but they're just fun conversation pieces. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Okay, this is my wedding night. That is my father. That is a bottle of Maker's Mark. So there is an old Alabama legend that if you bury a bottle of whiskey at the place you get married, the night before you get married, you will have perfect weather for your wedding day. And it worked to a T. It was 75 degrees and perfectly not a cloud in the sky.
What was the weather the day before?
It was raining.
Oh, so you checked the weather, saw the storm was going to end, and it was going to be nice the next day, so you went and buried it just so you could have some Maker's Mark out of the ground? Is that how that really went?
No, that's not how it went.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Maybe. No. Actually, no. I think we actually did it the week before. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It wasn't the day before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Then me and my dad had a shot from it.
And of course, Maker's Mark, not sponsored, but we are taking sponsors of all types at this point. So
I think Maker's Mark would be an outstanding sponsor.
It would.
Now accepting for sure. And it doesn't have to all be on the Patreon. You're welcome to reach out to us, and we'll get you our address and tell you where to send that wonderful product.
Well, you know, as a sponsor, I don't really think I'd care what brand it is.
Yeah. So you can go from that to that without any problems, and then we can go fully sponsored if need be. Just let us know. We'll be happy to help you out.
Well, what does it look like when they go fully sponsored, Chris?
A banner. Then that would look something like this. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Let me back this up. Something like that. Learn your CNC. This has zero to do with Maker's Mark, but it certainly is a way where you can learn to carve out a bottle of Maker's Mark in wood. Learn your CNC is a great way to learn anything and everything about the Vectric software. So go check it out. Something along those lines, maybe? I don't know.
That's great. Yeah, because what I'm thinking is maybe we'll just do an episode of all the products that we do use and then just see which one sticks. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. And unlike this weirdo here, we're not going to bury it in the ground. We're going to drink it and enjoy it.
Yeah, if you ever get the opportunity to follow JP on social media, his captions are lacking. So I have to ask him questions on pictures that I find.
No, that's the reason. There's no captions. It's a conversation starter.
No, it's a conversation starter because how it starts is that you're just kind of there at this place and you have a shovel. I found the picture at the end where you actually pulled something up and there's one picture where it's all muddy and you're drinking from it. But at the same time, I'm like, why is it buried? Why is that guy standing there next to you in sandals?
Oh yeah, the other part of that story is I also got married under the Alabama no-no. I got married on a college football game night. But there was a reason why we did that day because that was the anniversary of our first date. So there's meaning behind it. And my dad's like, I don't give a damn. There's a football game on tonight.
So she set the date, not you.
Basically, yes.
Okay, that's kind of we already knew. I just thought I'd put that out there for those who aren't married. That's how that would go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
And this must have been whenever she said, "All right, it's going to be on the night of this football game." So you decided to scowl a little bit and pout.
Yeah, making fun of James King's picture on one of his websites.
Well, then this must
actually a
be
good-
after everybody after you unburied it and you all shared in it. Everybody got a little joyous.
Yeah, that was about 15 years before that picture was taken.
I just enjoy your face so much because there's so much puzzling questioning going on right there where you're like, is this okay? Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, I'm basically like, you're in my house. What the hell are you doing?
That's the face.
Yeah, it's a good night.
Sorry, Kyle, a little late on bringing that comment up.
It does look like a great banner.
Yeah.
Kyle's got a pretty sharp logo. I do like that logo.
Oh, have you seen his new logo?
Mm-mm.
It's not. It should be in there. Yeah.
I like that too.
Academy.learnyourcnc.com.
If you think the banner's good, you should try the program.
Well,
Anything Vectric with Aspire or VCarve, he can take care of that for you.
yeah, I've already told
Your
my
CNC.
I've already told my wife is when the Phantom CNC is going in the garage, she's got to park out in the driveway. She didn't like that very much.
Well, yeah, I can see
And
why.
she said no, and you went.
I remember that day. That was actually the first year I bought that house and set up my shop. I remember it was 120 degrees outside, something like ridiculous. It was the middle of August. But
great time to move.
Yeah, that was not fun. I paid somebody to do that. I wasn't doing it. I moved so many times in my life, I'll never do it again. Especially when your buddies are all grown up and they have kids and they have excuses not to help you move.
Y'all get minivans instead of pickup trucks?
Basically, yeah. It's like, hey, minivans got kids in it. Can't do it. Sorry, guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got a
have to take
soccer
the
game.
car.
We're like, it's summertime. What are you talking about? You have a soccer game.
Have to take the car seats out. I mean, it's just no, I can't work that day.
Tell you what, a shout out to a Honda Odyssey though. You can haul a dresser with 3 kids in the van.
I've gotten plywood into a Odyssey before.
Yep, my wife has proved me wrong several times on what that van can haul.
Just the one with the turbo though?
No, I wish I had the what was that, Rutledge's? The spoon. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Once he's like, man, my wife just bought a minivan. I'm like, okay. He's like, it's the ELL version. I don't know what this 1.6T means. I'm like, well, that means it's a 1.6 liter turbo. I think it go really fast. He's like, hold my beer.
Hold my beer, yeah.
Hold my.
Make his mark.
But yeah, my dad, after the wedding was over, and he went straight into, because I got married at their house, which is the house I'm in now. And we got married at the gazebo down the street. So once he got in the house, he went straight in his bedroom and changed into his football gear. And he's hanging out. And everybody's like, who's this guy? You're at a wedding. Well, that's my dad. Auburn football is about to start in about 5 minutes.
Gotta have your traditions.
Yeah, it's good times.
I'm sure it was fun.
But yeah, the picture from college, I was telling you earlier, I went to Auburn. And in Auburn, whoever lives in the trailer is king. So all the, you got the, all the freshmen have to live in dorms. But once you can become a sophomore, you basically move to an apartment or a trailer. And we have 30 trailer parks in Auburn. And I had a double wide, so yeah. Everybody came to my house. We actually, me and my uncle built an AU logo into the porch of that trailer. So
there's no photo evidence of that.
Yeah, that I don't know where that happened to that picture. I think it was on like one of those old click phones you get at one of those disposable phones disposable cameras.
Yeah, you mean the windies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how long ago that was.
I'm sure that's in a book somewhere for security deposit evidence.
Yeah, if I find that picture, I will post it on Facebook for sure.
Yeah, it's hard to take photos on a bag phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of my photos from woodworking days, unfortunately, are in a photo album, so I'd have to hold them up.
You don't got a scanner? You can scan them all.
Yeah, I guess I could. That takes time.
Yeah.
Your phone scans in.
It's true.
That is true.
It's kind of like when the CD-ROMs came out the first time. You're like, yeah, I got this whole Bible of CDs. We're going to put these on digital.
Yeah.
And 3 hard drives later.
Gosh, remember when a gigabyte was like a big deal? Like you have a gigabyte hard drive?
Yeah.
Or gigabyte processor? Gigahertz. I have a gigahertz. Anyways.
Yeah, my mom was actually an IT director in the 80s for a bank. And she's like, we just got our first 10 gig hard drive. Yeah. It cost us $250,000. And it was the size of her car.
That's about right. My grandfather worked at IBM, and he had a picture of the first 5 megabyte hard drive off of a 18-wheeler trailer. It was the trailer.
Yep. It's like that movie. Was it Crunch the Numbers? What was it called? It's about the ladies in the NASA.
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures, yeah. And you should see the computers they brought in there. There's like, good God Almighty. They still have the real decks on them.
And there, I just bought a terabyte thumb drive.
Yeah, right. I was just thinking how your memory remembers it as crunching numbers, and it was Hidden Figures. It's like that was the B movie.
Yeah. that was a sequel that they try to rip off.
Yeah, was it Twister, and what was the knockoff of Twister?
Yeah, you had to ask that one. Damn, what was the knockoff of that one?
And that's the trivia question for tonight. The second caller wins.
Down in the comments, let us know what the answer is. It wasn't Sharknado, so don't go there. That was years later.
Or 2 or 3 or 4.
It might have just been called Tornado. Who knows?
No, it was back when they used to do like Independence Day, and they have like a knockoff of that with Armageddon, and the studios had the same movie. They just had 2 different names and different actors. Well, that one's going to drive me nuts now. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that, JP.
It's called The Night of the Twister. Actually, no, it was called Tornado. It was called
Tornado. Not as much fun as Twister.
Yeah, it's true.
Everyone remembers the cow in the trailer.
Was that a cow?
Yeah.
Was that another cow? No, that was the same cow.
Yeah, it was the same cow.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Favorite part of that movie is like, yeah, he got butt naked and he went up to that tornado, started cussing, and threw a bottle of whiskey in it.
Classic things we remember. Don't get us onto the Tommy Boy shtick. That would be.
Oh, I could be here for hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So you got your workbench upcoming.
Yep. Got that coming. I have about 15 projects coming up. I got probably half of those modeled right now. One of the biggest things I'm doing right now is building plan sets for other creators so they can sell their plans on their website. So that's taking up a lot of my time at the moment.
Has that become a big deal? I mean, a lot of makers and creators starting to do a lot of plans of what they're making in videos.
It is. There's some other people in the business that do plans have stopped doing them. So they're turning to me now. And it's almost getting to the point where I'm going to have to schedule them out in, weeks of advance to even get them done in a decent time.
Means you got a good product.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. It's a nod to your product if you're going to be having a backlog.
No.
What do they do? Do they give you just all the general measurements, or do they actually give you drawings? How does that work?
Some of them who actually, have some kind of SketchUp skills will send me a SketchUp model. And then I would basically go back and remodel it because they have 4 different components into a group, and then they're all one group. And then when you click on them, it's all 4 different. Yeah. Anyway, but a lot of them who don't do that will give me measurements and hand drawings, and I'll just go from there. Then I'll model them in SketchUp. And I actually use Photoshop to put them on PDF style. And I only do that because I'm very proficient in Photoshop. Some people would use, InDesign or Illustrator to do that, but I don't even know how to use Illustrator. Except for opening up a picture and saving it as an SVG. That's about it.
Now, how did you make your logo? What did you use to do that?
That was made in Illustrator. My nephew made that for me. I made the first one in Illustrator, and it took me, I don't know, a year and a half to make. He made this one, and I wanted something more simple and something that didn't have a lot of vector paths in it. This one has, I think, 3 or 4 paths, something like that. The other one had like 212. So you open it up and see the paths on it. It was just nothing but blue wiggly lines everywhere. And I've tried to have people cut it out with CNC. They're like, "Nah, we're not doing it," just because there's so many paths and vectors on it. But this one is very simple, and one of my biggest things I want to do, reasons why I wanted to redo my logo, was so I could get hats. Because nobody could do my old logo with a hat and make it look right. You know, the embroidering or just even print. But I'm going to get some. Basically, that logo is going to be on a patch, and it's going to be on a hat, or it's just going to be embroidered on it. But I'm trying to find some good hats.
Well, you know, I know a couple guys who'd wear them for you.
Yeah,
if you do.
Yeah, I think you are hat people. I know I had to send you a couple.
Yep, we can be hat people, anyways. We can be easily persuaded. So I gotta adjust it.
I'm definitely a shirt person, so
Yeah,
you know, always up for that. And thank you live and in person for.
See, Mike, I told him I don't even have that cup. Y'all have that cup. I don't have one.
I didn't get the cup. I got the shirt though, and I hadn't worn it because tonight I was doing wood, and I didn't want to ruin it. But I told Chris, I'll wear it.
The cup was in the same box with the shirt.
Yeah.
Then I haven't opened the box yet.
So you haven't even put the shirt on yet?
I haven't put the shirt on yet. No.
I
just got it. What, Friday? Yeah, I got it Friday. So I'll find.
Oh, you haven't got it yet? Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering how it fits because you have the tall shirts.
Yeah, you're the man. Tall is the way to go when you're got tall issues.
Yeah, and I went back on my website and was looking at all the products they had. I use a Spreadshirt for my t-shirts, and they actually have an oversized one. You know, those shirts that are they fit normally, but they're like super long.
Yeah,
they actually had those. I was like, oh my god, but they only had them in like 2X though, because some of the shirts, you know.
That's right. That might actually work out for some of the people who like to wear that as bedtime attire. You know, maybe make a line that kind of aims towards that more.
Yeah,
because the logo's simple. I like how it's simple.
Yeah. Maybe we can get into the moo business.
Well, I don't want to go down the Snuggie round for you, but
I swear I can find a company that does a Snuggie. I'm done. I'll be on this podcast next time in a Snuggie. It'd be great.
That would be hilarious.
Wow.
It's summertime, you know, it's like 80 degrees at night outside and you're just in a Snuggie because you can be.
Yeah. It's comfortable.
There you go.
It's flowy.
You said Spreadshirt?
Yeah, Spreadshirt.com.
Yeah, I'm writing that down.
Yeah, they do. They're kind of like Teespring, where you basically put your logo up there and you can put them on different stuff. You don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to, you know, how some creators and some people will order a bunch of shirts and they'll ship them themselves. They don't do that. The customer orders them, the company prints them and sends them to them. They do all the taxes and all the shipping on their side. So basically, the only thing you do is you get the profit because you can set the margins on it, and then they do everything else. It's very hands off.
And it was a decently comfortable shirt too. I mean, we've Mike and I both have gotten shirts from our work that were like, this is horrendous. I can't wear this.
Yeah.
But then they've also had some that were like, this is the most comfortable shirt I've ever worn, and they won't reorder them. So then
because they're probably expensive.
Well, you could tell they were, but I mean, I've got a couple that I've had for years, and you know, I love it. It's comfortable, it's breathable, it moves. Some of those are like your shoulders are like this on one sleeve and like this on another. We had some polos like that one time.
That's the problem I have with I'm a bigger fella, so most polo I like to wear polo shirts. That's my thing. So if I find a polo shirt and I put my logo on it, but the problem is it's incredibly boxy for the big and tall. So you know the sleeve would go all the way down like halfway down my forearm. It's like this is not cool. So that's just one of the things. It's it's kind of a challenge right now. But Spreadshirt's done pretty good so far.
Now, what is their percentage on it? Because I think that's what Lincoln Street uses, and he mentioned that they take a pretty big cut, but he doesn't have to do anything with them as far as merch goes.
Yeah,
they take care of everything.
There's no labor side on the backside of it, so that you have to pay for, and you can set your margins. So I think the standard, the shirt's like $13, $14, something like that. Their cost. Then your margin will be like $10. So it'd be 23, 24, and you can, obviously change it. You can make it $30 and you'll still get $16 for each shirt.
Gotcha.
So it's not bad.
Not bad.
Especially, you sell a bulk of them. It's just like selling plans. I had plans that are $15. My CNC flip top card's $15. I sell those. I probably sell about 15 of those a week on average. But then I go and do something stupid like offer free plans, and there's 1,000 a week. And I'm like, I can't go back and change it because then I look like a jerk.
Well, it's a limited time offer, people. Go to $1. Make it $1.
Yeah, see, that's something I've been wanting to get into is making some plans, because I've had a lot of requests for certain projects, like my crosscut sled and my drill press table, the way I did my CNC file.
Yeah.
But I don't have a website, not pushing anything out there. I mean, I got the domain, I just don't have the website built.
No.
Nor do I have time to do one. So I'm just like, well, I'll just keep paying for the domain rights, and eventually I might get around to.
So you just got the domain and the actual website part,
right?
Gotcha. Yeah,
it's all reserved through GoDaddy, so I can do anything. I can do if I wanted to. I could do whatever I wanted. I've got all the rights, just like we've got the rights to the Whatnot podcast. Again,
definitely,
we just haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, I use Squarespace. I have a lot of HTML background just because of my job, so I know a little bit about it. But Squarespace is the easiest one I've seen. You have Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, all those. Squarespace is still the easiest because it's basically a template, and you just click on the template and start typing what you want on there. Then upload photos and stuff like that. And the shop side of it's really easy too. It just sends you money through Stripe or PayPal, and they take care of all the taxes. Of course, it also hits you on the income on the end of the year, but it's part of the course.
Yeah, we got to have the streams, right? You got to have those revenue streams.
Well, YouTube will do that too. Surprisingly, you start making money on YouTube at, not Lincoln Street dollars, but
not Shop Nation dollars.
No. But hey, it's enough to justify me putting out some content.
Yeah.
and
provide shop stuff when I need it.
I mean, and all the YouTubers that we've talked to are people who just happen to have it as a part-time thing. You know, it paid for their materials, so they could keep their hobby going without any out-of-pocket cost.
Right, exactly. That's basically that's basically the boat I'm in right now too.
My bigger issue is actually having the time to stop to take a note of something. Like Instagram is really easy to do it as you moved.
Right.
There's no money. You can get sponsorships, but you never got any actual dollars like you would YouTube.
Right. And it brings up a good point. And every time I start a project, I'm like, I'm going to put this all over Instagram. This is going to be step by step on Instagram each day. And then at the end of the project, I didn't take any photos. I forgot about it because I was busy.
I've got a review video to do. I use their product, and at the same time, I forget to take a picture of it. And then when I'm unscrewing them off the thing, I'm like, "Oh, you idiot!" Like, I had to do these by doors. They sat at a right angle, so they went into the kitchen like that, you know. And I used they're sakers, and I used them, but they have this really cool interlocking feature. So when I had them turned this way to spray the outsides, I could turn them the other way and they would lock in place and never touch whenever the wind blew on them. And I don't think that was a feature they thought of, but it worked great for me. I got done with it and I was like, I need to take a picture of that. Totally forgot.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So when they were reaching out to me, I'm like, I'm getting it. I promise. I got some pictures this weekend. I did. So I'll get that out to them. But I'll tell you what, that's the hardest thing is to find time to do it into your process.
Yeah. Especially when you get into a complete and utter hyper focused. It's like, hey, I'm on the roll. I don't want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crap. Oh well, guess we're not doing Instagram tonight.
Well, and a lot
That's
of times
100%.
you can take just some of the simple footage that you've shot from doing your general content and you're like, okay, what can I steal out of this footage here, and maybe speed it up 5 times, and yeah, that'll work. We'll just put that on there as a reel or a generic post. And
Yeah, there's a 28-minute video in 32 time, and now it's a TikTok.
well, Kyle's been doing a lot of that. He's been doing little 1-minute video segments. If you don't know who Kyle is, he's the guy from Learn Your CNC. He's
Nice.
been doing some of those, and it's like dizzying watching his mouse and cursor and all the little images change across the thing, and it's like, wow, okay. And for those, and I think he does this too, for those who watch traditional videos in 1.5 or 2 times speed, I can only imagine how nuts that is trying to watch that.
Yeah, HR hasn't figured out the 4 times speed button yet on their videos.
Gets by a lot quicker.
I had a guy at work. I was like, yeah, I finished all my training videos in like 2 days. I'm like, yeah, because you used the 5-time button, didn't you? Even whatever. Hey, send
They
them
sound a little bit more
HR.
chipmunk. Same point.
He's like, are you
There's
watching a
a-
training video or listen to a Chipmunks video?
There is someone on YouTube that took the entire Chipmunks album from the 80s, all the hit songs that they did, and they slowed it down 16 times. And it sounds like a goth emo band rendition. It's awesome.
like-
So then what I do is I'll turn it up to like 1.75 and it sounds about right. It's quality entertainment.
Slows it down. It sounds like typo negative.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. Yep.
That's awesome.
It's like Duran Duran, typo negative, and The Cure mixed together
Nice.
when you've had a long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the Chipmunks original. If you speed it up to 16, you'll hear the original cut. But they slowed it way down, so it's fun. I don't even know what it's called.
That's awesome.
But that's where you can find JP over at foxhallww.com. Now, is it woodworking or Woodworks? Because you got it both ways.
It's Woodworks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because on your website it's woodworking, but on your YouTube page it's Woodworks. Or just close that all together and just get offended. That's fine too. Thank you for joining us.
He got plumb mad. He said,
You went to look.
You're going to start calling me. Wait a minute. Thank you. Welcome back, JP. We appreciate that. Feel free to chime in and share how you feel about that.
If you're watching at home, yeah. No, if you're listening to this after the fact, we have this sweet mug shot where he's just making such a grimace face.
I guess I'll let him back in. Welcome back.
So this is what happens behind my back.
Well, when you disappeared, we had no choice but to bring you back in.
Yeah, that was me being tired. And I actually took the StreamYard tab and went over to my website, and I'm like, why did everybody stop talking?
Well, your website's probably more informative and beneficial for people to watch than our show is. So
that's debatable.
It's
Especially when you have Kyle on.
www.foxhallww.com, and that could be woodworking or woodworks. Either way you want to call it, it's www.com.
Don't leave to go check. Just go with it.
He said he doesn't care what you call it as long as you go to that website and then just enjoy the time.
And if you're a fan of 311 on Instagram, it's FoxhallWW311 is his handle.
Favorite band of all time.
You mean that?
Yeah.
I've seen 311 32 times live.
I would love to see Peanut live.
They are absolutely amazing live. They're a really good show. So
Only
they ever
saw
come
one-
to Hickory? So they ever come anywhere in North Carolina? Make it a point to go see them. You'll not be disappointed.
They were just in Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken, because someone I'm friends with, his daughter got into him, and he was you could just tell he was happy about it.
Yeah.
Going to the concert, and he's like, yeah, I have to struggle through this concert of 311 for my daughter. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
It's like, you jerk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go.
And if you are watching us on YouTube, feel free to jot down this address as well. Foxhall Woodworks. So it's woodworking or woodworks. Take your pick. He's at both of them.
What is that /C there?
Channel.
Yeah, channel. That's what yours pops up as. You can do it as youtube.com/Foxhall Woodworks, but the URL comes up with the C.
So weird.
Yeah.
That means you've made it. You actually have a name.
Custom URL channel name.
I got that the first time I opened up my YouTube account.
So this is YouTube.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Luckily.
So during my new video, I want to ask y'all something. I'm going to have a vote on my Instagram channel or Instagram page. Team Chamfer or Team Roundover? And it's going to be a vote for everybody.
Oh, is it going to be for the workbench?
Mm-hmm. For the top of the workbench for the trim.
Are you going to be doing the dovetail system? The micro jig dovetail clamp?
I'm thinking about it. I'm seriously thinking about it.
If you do, I would lean towards Team Chamfer on that particular project. You will never hear me say that.
I know.
But there's a reason why. Out on the edges, it looks better out on the edges with those dovetail slots coming out. And if you do your chamfer right, you can line the bottom of the chamfer up with the bottom of the dovetail, which is 3/8.
Okay.
And that looks super smooth. Normally, I'm Team Roundover, but in this case, I would lean Team Chamfer.
I don't know what to think about that. He said Team Chamfer.
Because of the situation.
Yeah.
Because of the situation.
Okay, I'll give you a pass on that one. That's cool.
Yeah, this particular project, this application, I've done roundovers on some of my projects with a match fit. And I did one where I did the chamfer. And after I did it, I went back and lowered it just a little more so that line ended at the bottom of the dovetail. And it was like the heavens opened. I said, that is it. From now on, any project I do with that, I'm going to put that chamfer on there. Because one, you've got the dovetail, which is obviously it's angles. But then if you've got that chamfer coming off and it ends right at that lip, it's like it all comes together and it makes it seamless.
And it also widens out the hole for the clamp to go into because you have it on chamfer.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
It opens up the surface area.
Yeah, that would be a lot easier for when I put the camera mount on, because it's sometimes hard to line up a T-bolt into the tracks because you can't see it because it's so big. So that is something I like that idea.
So what's really weird is that I'm a Team Roundover when it comes to a workbench. Because a chamfer will stop a board when it hits it. A roundover will allow it to pop up and go over. So if it's an outfeed table, if you're routing something, I've got a work table right here. It's roundover. Only because if I hit something on the side, it's guaranteed to go up and over. If it's a chamfer, it will stop. It almost digs in. So on a workbench, when you go to do your pole, I'll probably be roundover for it, unless you're doing the micro jig. If you're doing that, then it's chamfer all the way. Welcome to the dark side, Chris.
Well, the nice thing about if you use the micro jig dovetail bit, and which I highly recommend that compared to just using a dovetail bit, a regular one, because it does have the radius bottom corners and it does have the radius at the top, which is a tremendous time saver when it comes to sanding, and it eliminates that sharp edge.
Yeah.
So get their dovetail bit, and you know you'll like it, and it cuts clean. I mean, it cuts better than the traditional sharp cornered dovetail bit, and because it's radiused at the bottom, that actually adds more strength to that bottom joint and makes it less likely to want to pull up.
Yeah,
because it's radiused instead of sharp.
Yep.
Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're doing something with plywood instead of MDF, for instance, you don't have that ply pulling. You have a radius edge, so it's a more continuous corner.
Yeah.
So today was opposite day for us, Chris. What do you think of that?
Well, I
must
might
be
not
a full moon or something.
I might not do my vote now. Huh.
No, do your vote, because I think it would be very interesting to see if you had just a workbench and then do a vote if you go with the micro jig to see if it changes.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Okay.
Because most woodworkers aren't stuck on one thing. I mean, they're willing to adapt, but it'll have to be the right project. And if it's micro jig match fit, it definitely needs to be bevel.
I know it's going to happen. Sorry, I know it's going to happen. You're going to have one short and one long roundover, and one short and one long chamfer. Oh, you can just spin the cart whenever you want to.
Yep.
Best of both worlds.
Well, the nice thing is if you make a sample piece, a little 12 by 12, and you do a 4 by 4 grid or something in it, and you chamfer 2 edges and you round over 2 edges, you can get a look at what that would look like. And and the roundover is not bad, especially on hardwood, but you'll like the look of that chamfer and how it ties in with the bench itself and the way those dovetail slots are.
Yeah, I do like that idea a lot, especially the matching the bottom of the dovetail. Now I do have a 3/8 inch roundover bit that I've gotten from Clean Spore's woodworking shop. It's outstanding bit.
We know them.
Wait, that's fully sponsored though, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
for me.
That's getting you brownie points right there.
Yeah, totally.
It gets us headache.
Yeah, I do have, obviously I've not been in my shop since November because of work, and I had surgery last month. So I do have call outs for every single product that Clean Spore has sent me.
Yes. Yes, you have.
They are ready to go, they're ready to rock, and they're ready to load.
Yeah, I like all your call outs, and the combination blade. What do you think of that later on down the road? It's been 2 years?
2 years now, yeah. I still like it. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. I sold my rigid table saw, right? And the blade was still in it, and I didn't know that.
Oh no.
Yeah, the guy calls me and is like, "Hey, there's a Clean Spore blade still in this." I'm like, "Crap!" So I wasn't gonna be like, "Hey, bring it back." I'm just like, "Enjoy."
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, enjoy that.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna
be a drag, and I also sold my Incra fence with that table saw too.
Ooh.
Which I have. This is my justification for it. I'm going to get a bigger one, the longer one, because I'm also going to do a router table on it. So that was my justification for selling that. So I'm going to take the money for that and buy a new one and wait 6 years for it to come in.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing that video then.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go. First one, this is nothing compared to this one.
Yeah, but this one's going to be completely just decked out. It's going to have the router. It's going to have the Wonder router fence on it. Because I know the first cut I make with just the standard Grizzly Beastmeyer fence, which it's a great fence. I'm going to miss my Incra. I'm just like, oh my god, the micro adjustment thing on that was outstanding. So we'll see.
Yeah, I guess I had to look forward to selling my saw soon too. So that's going to be interesting trying to work that deal out.
I sold it in 3 hours when I posted it.
Marketplace?
No. I was in a rigid R4512 group.
Gotcha.
And I posted in there. Some guy that was like 10 miles away from me say, "I'll take it right now. I'm coming over with a trailer." I'm like, okay.
There you go.
But I will say that the general purpose 40 tooth blade from Clean Spore, might be my favorite blade of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That blade is outstanding.
What? What makes it more outstanding than the 50-tooth combo?
I did some cabinets for my miter saw station, which I still have half that video done. That's going to be one of the things I finish up next weekend. I've noticed for some reason when you're ripping plywood, you don't even feel it when it was going through the blade. Now, I don't know if that was just because my table saw was really dialed in, but I changed the blade on it and I didn't have that feeling. It's kind of like when baseball, when you hit a home run and you don't feel the ball at all when you hit it. That's what it felt like. And that really stood out to me. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
What was the quality of cut like?
It was forced woodworker.
What?
Yeah, it's completely the other way around for us, which is interesting. So, but you don't have the combination blade. We may have to figure something out here because I saw a review video that someone was doing on, I think it was Ramsey, on just the two things. And it was like he was pushing really close to the general purpose instead of the combination.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was slightly higher. Now, it might not have been him. I saw a lot of content over the weekend, but someone had a review on 40-tooth versus 50-tooth. If they were Freud. But it'd be interesting to find out because between Chris and I, that doesn't make sense to us. And we've tested them.
Now
I gotta go back.
I will say though, the Freud Fusion that's 40-tooth. Now that blade is a nice blade. I'm pleased. I mean, I've used that blade. It's a nice blade. But the Klingspor 40 versus the 50-tooth combo, I did not have that experience. So, but hey, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and feel free to talk it up.
Yeah, I might do a video with all the Klingspor blades
because
make sure
the ATB was what. No, the triple chip. I think that's got a triple chip, doesn't it?
I believe so. Let me look real quick.
Yeah, because the other one's going to have the ATB and a raker.
Yeah, so I think it's that triple chip that's what threw me off. It does it makes a clean cut on top, but the bottom splinters out considerably more, and that was one of the reasons why I found that the 50-tooth, in my opinion, did a little better.
But on a zero clearance, because the fence we were using on our testing wasn't zero clearance, I wonder if that matters.
Yeah, I definitely had zero clearance. A fresh one for that blade too. That was just cut, and it was the Grizzly version with the zero clearance.
Because I mean that makes a huge difference in the results as well.
Yeah, and I'd sit there for an hour making sure that zero clearance was a dead flat with the top.
Yeah, we can make this into other review videos where they cheat that way to say, "Oh, the bottom cut was horrible." Anyway,
if it was zero clearance, it's impossible.
Yeah, well, that's what we're seeing on a lot of these videos where they're doing comparison is that they have these little ways of making the results look bad, and if you don't know what to look for, you have no idea.
Yeah,
that's how they're not cheating, but they're using something to an advantage or a disadvantage to make something perform less than what it would.
Right.
I would call that deceptive.
There you go. There you go.
Maybe deceiving. Yeah. HD 100 blade. Fantastic. That is my daily driver on my Delta Cruiser, and it has not moved.
I was gonna say I think I've got a 12-inch. Hold on, let me check. My saw's right here underneath the table.
He's gonna check his stash right now.
So the one thing about that blade though is you don't want to be cutting up junk wood with it.
Yeah.
With that
I don't know. I cut firewood. That's great.
Oh geez. And so you no longer have a high ATB. You have an ATB triple chip chamfer tooth.
You know, I would like to buy a new one and see the difference here because I cut up oak, cherry, maple firewood in half so it can go on one of the inserts. I use that 12-100. Yeah, that thing's a beast. It'll cut right through it.
Yeah.
And
You
at
should
the
see what
same
it'll
time,
do
in
to
all
your delicate
fairness,
trim.
I was gonna say, and at the same time, the trim behind me, I cut with the same blade. No problem. I am not the average woodworker guy. I know. I get it.
Somebody's gonna go in your house, look at your firewoods, like, why is your end so perfectly cut?
Oh, I wish I had a video of one of them. I cut it so smooth it looked like glass off of that blade. It was like, why would you do that? Just because you can. Like
Yeah.
it was a piece of maple and it looked so good. No burns.
It's like that one. I think it was an Instagram video where the guy was cutting a sandwich with a miter saw.
Yes.
It's like it can cut wood. It can also cut your sandwich.
It was a mess too.
I think it was a hoagie though, so it wasn't that bad.
It was a hoagie. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Was it Nick? No. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. I remember seeing that anyway. Well, JP, it's getting around that hour mark, buddy, and I just want to tell you thank you for coming on again. I'm glad you're still doing well. Thank you for letting us share some of your historic pictures.
Yeah. I do have one quick question. How do you like that cruiser?
I like it a lot. It's very smooth. I actually have a video. That's one of the videos when we shoot this summer. There's a review video on that. The only thing it is, it has a lot of deflection on it. They're not careful with it. But it's a slider, and a lot of them do that. But I think there's a way to adjust it to tighten it up.
Yeah, I was debating on the Bosch myself, and I wasn't sure because I've seen it's got a similar.
Yeah, the problem with the ones that have the minimum back to them is their dust collection is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
The Bosch or the Delta, they're garbage.
They're a miter saw. They're all horrible. The Capex is the only one that was.
Yeah, everybody's like 99%. Like, no, it's more like 89%.
Shoot, 99% all over the table and around the blade.
Right.
Next project,
you like
$80 for the miter saw station.
The Capex is accurate, but I don't like the power of the motor.
Yeah, that's the biggest complaint. Is that step up electronic controlled chip doohickey? What do they call that? MMS?
Something like that. Yeah.
Is that the technical term for that, doohickey?
It is doohickey, yeah. Because when you go to use it and you're used to a chop saw, you're just like, what is it taking it so long to recognize?
What's up,
Now,
Gary?
the jigsaw is cool.
For all them years, man.
Yeah, but on the Capex, on the Carvex jigsaw, that feature is actually pretty cool because it detects if it's thick or thin and how much power it's going to need once it hits. But not on the chop saw, not for me.
Have you guys had any feedback with the new Festool TS 55F, the new one that came out?
Does anyone actually have them in stock?
I didn't know.
I was going to say, if we got 3, they were already gone and no one's going to talk crap about it because they can resell it on the market for higher than they paid for it.
It's true.
Yeah, Festool stuff now is like, actually a lot of these machinery and power tool manufacturers, they're like the home prices.
Mm-hmm.
The retail value might be $100, but the street value is more like $150.
Right.
That's why I'm looking forward to getting rid of my table saw because I think I can get good money.
Now's the time.
What table saw do you have now?
I've got a U.S. made Delta contractor from 2004.
Nice.
With the bench dog left side router table extension.
It's fancy.
On a Delta heavy duty mobile base. Rewired to 220 single phase. And it's got a built-in cabinet on the right-hand side for storage of router bits and other goods. So
anyway, Mike, how's it going?
Me private.
No, I was just thinking. I guess there is. I was just thinking, is there a 223 phase?
Not in a contractor saw.
So why would that single phase need to be put in the description of the
because
spec?
it sounded good.
It did. It sounded efficient and professional.
Not saying that you added it, Chris. I know that's in the specs. I'm just thinking to myself, like, single phase. Yeah, it's a 220. Like, why do you need that?
Anyway. But Mike, think about what we do as our day job. How often do we ramble off the power specs of a saw or machine and we throw in single phase or 3-phase because of various questions and people who are asking?
How many times do you put in TEFC? How many times do you really tell them it's a TEFC? Like, they're all totally enclosed fan.
Just to give Chris credit, I was almost thinking about buying a saw just for that whole spill. He almost had
It
me
is a good
convinced.
spiel.
It was,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a good spiel.
I'll type you up a quote.
Free
No,
delivery?
I'm good. Yeah, free delivery. I'll think about it.
$2,000 saw for free delivery. He's on it.
Yeah.
That'll help
Anyway.
pay for the saw stuff.
You could say $2,000 every day, but he said free.
Yeah, well, free delivery. The saw is $2,000. This is Amazon we're talking here.
So when you're talking to your wife, hey, this is $2,000, but it's on sale.
Yeah, $600 off and free delivery.
Yep.
That's kind of how the sales stop thing went. Hey, I'm saving like 6% because the price increase is coming up in May, and
My wife like it should have been 7.
Anyway.
So who do you want to see in the hot seat there, JP?
Who don't want to sit in the hot seat?
Yeah, so we've been asking our guests now, because you're in the hot seat, who would you like to see in the hot seat? You don't have to answer now. Maybe think about it, and then you reach out to that person and say, hey, I was on this terrible podcast, and I think you need to be put through the torture test as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got some people's.
And they're desperate, so they'll take anybody. So they'll even accept you.
And they have no money, but they take free T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give them stuff, and they'll put you on the show.
And proudly sport.
You know what we should do is every week we'll just put someone's sticker on top of that mug. That's what we'll do. I have a blank one.
If he made me mad, I came prepared with the Hacksman.
Which, by the way, we have no idea why that was sent to Chris.
Yeah, I've subscribed to his channel, but I've not reached out to him about coming on the podcast or nothing. I got two mugs.
I know a good person to be on the hot seat. What about Chris Burton from Glimpse Inside? That guy's awesome.
Don't know that one.
Well, maybe you should invite him and say, hey, reach out to these guys, and they'd love to talk to you about coming on the podcast.
Check him out. He's a great dude. I met a guy at the Workbench Con. He lives in Huntsville, Alabama, so he's north of me. I can't remember his name, but I'll get back with you. He was a really good dude. He's got a good Instagram presence. He's in the he's former military. He's a really good dude, but I'll get back with you on that one, Chris.
Sounds good, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. And we do have a few things here. We got Gary real quick. He jumped in late, so he's trying to maximize his last minute time here. All crazy. I just paid $170 a piece for 5/8 Baltic birch.
Wow.
Gee whiz.
Ouch.
And Chris would be great. Yes, I would, but what would I be great at?
I believe he was talking about Chris Burton from A Glimpse Inside, Chris.
Oh, I'm sure he would. Yeah.
Nobody
says it about me.
Is that a 5x5 sheet of Baltic birch was $170?
It had to be 10x5. Come on.
Yeah. I don't know. It's Utah, though, so it has to go across the country on top of being imported.
I mean, he's got to be talking pesos here, not dollars. Wow. Well, we know who's got money or who used to have money.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, we know who's broke this weekend for Easter. Okay, 4x8. Okay, it's a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah, I called our local lumber guy today who's normally got a few sheets stashed away. I said, hey, you got anything in Baltic? Nope. You got anything like Baltic? Maybe with more than 11 layers? Nope. It's like, okay, thanks a lot. And he's broke now, so he's going to have to resave for his winter skis.
Now it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Baltic birch, since it comes out of that Baltic region that's got issues at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think I can get Baltic birch in our area. I think they're all sold out of it. They can't get any more.
Same here.
Yep.
And I've got a big project coming up for my speaker customer who part of this requires Baltic birch. So
are you building speakers for cars or home audio?
It's home audio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's home audio. He says,
it's not traditional home audio.
It's not the cool band.
That.
It's not the cool bandsaw or the what do you call them? Speaker boxes for your car. Band box.
No.
They're way past that, unfortunately. They used to be built. I can attest that one, but no, these are insanity boxes.
If you go back to, I don't know, a few weeks ago on my Instagram, I was gluing some of them up, and the insides of them are like, there's not a square angle in the mix. They're insane.
Nope.
So you're trying to do like some of the Mirage speakers that there's no right angles on them?
Not necessarily that. The entire inside is a folded horn from top to bottom to back. It's a constant taper, so there's no possible way to have a 90-degree angle in there.
That's fancy.
They're insane.
Yeah.
And Chris gets to do it.
Yeah.
Have fun. Hey,
It's from Mike's dad, so it's not like he's familiar with the pain that I'm going through.
You're going to have a new toy to help you do those boxes, so it might be a little bit more enjoyable.
Maybe. But I had to buy over $300 in clamps to be able to do one box.
Wow.
Because of all the clamps that are required, you can't just use like parallels. You got to have, or bar, you've got to have deep F style. And
oh, yeah.
So needless to say, me and Bessie are friends now, and I could be sponsored by Bessie, but
I met the rep at WebRickCon. She was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, send Chris a little info there. Maybe he can. Because it's something unusual. It's not a normal box by any stretch. So having clamps like that in that kind of glue up would be awesome for Bessie to show off, to retag, if you will.
Yeah, it's like you can get away from the cutting boards. Chris is doing something really cool.
It's definitely different for sure.
Your short boards.
I gotta mute myself here because the dogs are going crazy.
Oh man, I was thinking I had a picture of it somewhere, but I don't know what I've done with it. They showed the inside of it.
It used to be on there, but I think I removed all the. Yeah, because I just did the CNC ones. I left those. I think I took it off. It was there though, so I'm sorry.
Well, I thought I had a photo on my Facebook page that showed the inside of it, but I don't think I do anymore. But that's okay. It's irrelevant. It's 10 o'clock after 10. Nobody cares. So, well, again, JP, we certainly appreciate you coming on and sharing your time. Feel free to reach out to, folks who are also desperate like us and would be willing to come waste an hour plus with us and talk woodworking, life, and whatever else might come up. And tell them we promise not to go find embarrassing photos on their first time on.
That's probably a good idea.
One. Because Chris did happen to find Tony Rulu's slip and slide picture. And I found Sterling Davis's slip and slide picture. So you got to find at least just one. We'll just do one. We'll take it easy on him.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think we needed to do a roast of one of Sterling's videos. That guy's great.
Absolutely. We should go back to the beginning on those.
We'll try to get him back on here one day. He feels a little more comfortable now that we've eased him in on it, and so we'll save the second visit for the just onslaught of embarrassment.
There you go.
Well, we appreciate everybody watching. Check us out on Patreon, and if you want us to like to support us, and if you just want to hear more, we've got audio only on all your favorite podcast only sites. And if you want to check out videos later, we've got it on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So jump on there and, just enjoy yourself with days and days of Whatnot Podcast. So I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
I'm JP.
We'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.
Wait a minute. Where'd it go?
We'll talk to you in a minute.
There.